All right, guys, we'll get started. Everyone's 5 minutes late at the very least. So in triathlons, you got to be on time on race day. So we'll go ahead and get started as close to on time as we can. For anybody who doesn't know, my name's Jacob. I work here at Live Grit. We're Chicago's endurance sports store. A bunch of our staff's floating around. Gillian, the owner, Jeff's over there. We got Sabin and Ann floating around as well. Sabin's with the iPad. If you didn't check in before, go ahead and check in with him afterwards, just so we have accountability. Maybe you guys will get a cool coupon in the mail in the emails tomorrow. And then we got Chicago Triathlon and their coaches here in the back there in their cool shirts. And then our endurance coach Jim is here as well. So the moral of the story is we have a lot of knowledge in the room for you guys. So we're really excited that you're part of the First Timers program this year. Thanks so much for coming out to one of the educational clinics here in the store. At any point, if you have any question at all, no question too stupid or too novice, ask one of us. If you're not comfortable in a group setting like this, once we're done, we're going to break apart. You can find someone in one of our t-shirts or one of the Chicago Triathlon t-shirts and pull them aside and ask. We have a little bit of everything in the way of athletes here, some runners, some cyclists, some swimmers, so we can help you out in any way that we can. A couple of ground rules. There are no rules, number one. Number two, if you want anything to drink, get up and just grab something to drink. If the beer empties, we'll grab it out of the keg. Goose Island has generously provided us with some Green Line today. We filled up the keg because last First Timers Clinic, we ran out of beer, and that was a big problem. You guys threw a revolution on us. We got water as well, some white wine that's finally open. Thank you, Amanda. Someone's got to start drinking it. And again, guys, it's super laid back. The entire premise of the store is to be never intense, never intimidating. That applies to clinics like this. We're going to try and get you a lot of information tonight. But if at any point you have a question, we're going to interrupt the session and we're going to get going on some questions as well. It's critical that you guys interact. I hate hearing my own voice, probably more than you guys hate hearing it. So at any point you have any questions, let me know. We do want to start learning names, so just throw your name out when you have a question, raise your hand, and introduce yourself so we can get going on the name game as well. Today, this is clinic number 5 in a 6-part series, actually a 7-part series, because we're going to do a course talk as well. And we're going to cover gear tonight, or gritty gear, because I love alliteration, I guess. I don't know. This clinic and the next clinic are specifically left rather abstract because we know a lot of athletes are just getting around to coming into some clinics and getting their head wrapped around the whole triathlon thing. So any questions applicable tonight, it doesn't have to be gear specific. That's what we're going to cover. But if we need to get back to basics, talk about the swim, anything like that, let us know. Rosalind is here, one of our other endurance coaches, so she'll be able to answer some questions as well. Any questions before we get started, guys? Awesome. Let's see if our technology wants to work today. Nope. Not even a little bit technology. Back to the old buttons. All right. There it goes. We start every presentation with the triathlon basics. This information, you didn't miss a day in the 8th grade. This is something nobody learns in school. That's why we're here. So we're going to teach everything. The Cubs are playing, I guess, because ESPN feels like telling me. Every event that we do in the triathlon world is swim, bike, run. The word triathlon, if you ask my dad, is any swim, bike, and run. He thinks Ironman and sprint distances are the same thing. That's where we get into the different distances of triathlons. But we always go swim, bike, run. In that order. You can't choose your own adventure. If you've put on a wetsuit, you know exactly why the swim comes first. It takes a minute to get that thing on. And then we have different distances. I got tired of being wrong, so I put the chart up there. I was always wrong guessing this. So this is off of Chicago Triathlon's website. For the First Timers program, how many sprint distance athletes do we have in the room? Awesome. And any International Olympic athletes? Very cool. That's pretty even. International Olympic is synonymous. I don't know. Do you know why they use both words?
International was the original, and then in 2000, when the Sydney Olympics introduced the sport, it just took on the Olympics distance.
Gotcha. But it's the same distance all the time. So, so here are your mileage totals. They're originally measured in metric. That's why a 0.47 mile swim, we say half a mile for the most part, and a mile swim for the Olympics. So there are your distances. Saturday, they have a super sprint race as well. That's going to be a lot of fun. If you're in the First Timers program, you're doing sprint or Olympic. If you're in the Divvy Wave or the super sprint, we want to come up and support you guys. So First Timers, plan on going up Saturday morning and cheering on the super sprint athletes. It's a great event up at Foster Beach this year. Hootie, I'm right? Is that Foster? Okay, good. I get confused. So we'll go up and cheer those athletes on as well. So those are our distances. Timing's gonna start when you get in the water and you hear the gun go off, and it's not gonna finish until you cross the finish line. All three sports and both transitions are gonna count for your general time. If you're like me and you sit down and transition for a few minutes, that counts for your race time as well. Starts, you guys are gonna be in the first timers wave, which at Chicago Triathlon is gonna be about 150 athletes large. I think they go off in like 6-minute increments, so you'll have plenty of water space around you to get going. And everybody in the first timers wave is going to be super friendly, so we're not going to swim over anybody or get near anybody. And then transitions, we call that the fourth sport. That was our last clinic that we had. We'll cover that again. Coach Jim did a live clinic for some people out here. It's on our Facebook page as well from last time he did it. We can cover that sport as well, the transitions of the race. We're going to go over the course and some rules as well. A couple of our coaches are also USAT referees, so rule-specific questions will go to them, but there's some stuff that we'll cover in the race talk the week of the event or the weekend of the event at the expo. So real quick, on Sunday, we'd just like everybody to see the course a number of times so you get comfortable with it. Our swim start's going to be right here south of Buckingham Fountain. International distance athletes are going to go south first and then turn north. Sprint distance athletes are just going to go straight north. The bike course, you go up Lakeshore Drive to Hollywood, and then back down. Sprint distance athletes come back into transition. International distance athletes take that really cool. Hey Jeff, can you turn the air conditioning down a few clicks? I'm sweating up here. International distance athletes are going to go through Middle Wacker, McCormick Busway and things, and then back into transition. It's a 3-level bike course. It's absolutely gorgeous. Middle Wacker is going to be a really cool event for a lot of people. Also 3 roads you never get to ride your bike on at any other time, only during the Chicago Triathlon. And then all athletes are going to come out of transition and go south. Sprint distance athletes are going to turn around at Waldron. Olympic distance athletes are going to go all the way down to 31st. And everybody's going to finish right there like Columbus and Balboa, right where the marathon finishes as well. Real quick, because our friends over at Fox Business and Chicago Triathlon made it, this is a video of the course in case the map wasn't good enough, but we like to use their media as well. So there's the swim course again. Sprint distance will just go straight left, quarter-mile jog up to transition, then you go all the way up to the end of Lakeshore Drive. You guys are going to be on the innermost 2 lanes of Lakeshore Drive. It's worth noting that if you take your bike on the bike path now and keep an eye on Lakeshore Drive, it's got a little bit different elevation than the bike path does because the cars go up and down as well. Middle Wacker, McCormick Busway, all the way down to McCormick Place and back up into transition. And then all runners, this is going to be on the lakefront path down through the museum campus. It'll be open to the public, so we'll have a lot of athletes out there, but no one ever closes down the path. So you'll see regular people going as well. Yeah, go ahead.
Courtney.
Hi, Courtney.
For the swim part,
Yeah.
are we going to be the last heat, or is there going to be one behind us?
Everyone's always got swim start questions. Every clinic, everyone's got swim start questions. I'm going to push hard to not have that. We don't want that to happen where you guys are the last wave. The triple challenge will be the last wave for the sprint distance. International goes early in the morning, and then the sprint distance athletes go. We're going to try and sneak you guys into the middle of both of those. So we don't want you to be last in the water. We didn't want you to be first last year. We didn't want people to get ran over by athletes behind them. I think there was no win there. So we put you guys last year, and this year we're going to put you somewhere in the middle. So, yeah.
When does the course close? I mean, like, when do you have to be off and done?
Way after you're off and done already. Plenty of time after that.
Because, you know, is there like a cutoff, like, everybody has to be out of the water?
Tough questions right out of the gate today. Technically, yes, there is. They're going to open the water back up to boat traffic. They're going to open Lakeshore Drive back up to car traffic. So we need athletes out of the water in a reasonable time and off the bike path or off the bike course in a reasonable time as well. That's why last year when we put you guys towards the end of it, we did have a few athletes get pulled from the course. To be completely frank with you, it's not something we were super happy about. Chicago Triathlon wasn't very happy about it. The Park District and the city have a lot more to do with it than we do. And we're going to move you up in time so that that doesn't happen again. And it was a kind of a perfect storm of things last year that caused that to happen. The biggest thing is the bike course. If you get out of the water and onto the bike course, they're not going to pull you off of it. They need that Lakeshore Drive to open back up, though. So they will stop you from starting the bike course if they don't think you can finish in time. But we'll have plenty of time. That's why we're pushing our wave earlier this year, so that'll never happen. It wasn't fun for the athletes, for us, for Chicago Triathlon, so we're going to stop it. Try our best to stop it from happening. Being here, riding your bike, going for a swim now, that's all you can do, and you'll have plenty of time at that point. Any other questions on the course, guys? Yeah.
I have a question. I
Yeah.
have a road bike, but I have very thin tires.
Okay.
As we all know, Chicago roads are not exactly
Sure.
perfect. Like,
Paved roads, right?
would a hybrid tire maybe suit the
So a road tire, like a bunch of our bikes there are road tires in their width, 23 to 25 millimeters. So long as they're at the right pressure and you do your best to avoid giant potholes, it shouldn't be a big problem. I ride my road bike all over the place. A lot of the coaches are going to be riding their road bikes. Just avoid any large potholes. Lakeshore Drive is in pretty good condition. I think Wacker and McCormick Busway both just got repaved, so those are going to be gorgeous this year. And as long as you have them set to the right pressure that morning in transition, you should be absolutely fine. Yeah.
I'm Elizabeth.
Hi, Elizabeth.
In terms of the course, my family and friends keep asking
Yeah.
to watch me.
Awesome.
What do I tell them?
Everywhere. They're going to watch you everywhere.
Like, I don't know. I'm all over
Yeah,
the place.
yeah, absolutely. So a couple things about Chicago Triathlon. You guys are going to be really spoiled after this event. It's one of the best races in the world. Personally, I think that there's a lot of athletes. It's one of the largest events in the world, and it's actually really, really spectator friendly. The entire swim course is parallel to the seawall. So last year, after we put our first timers wave into the water, I walked along the wall with all of the first timers swimming. So your family could watch you get in and physically watch you swim all the way up there. The bike course is a little bit tougher. Are you doing sprint or international? So they're probably not going to see you on the bike. They can see you get in and out of transition. But to try and cross the course and get up Lakeshore Drive ahead of you and then get back down before he's really tough. But then the run course, they can walk down to see you come out of transition. You'll run south and then they can beat you to the finish line pretty easily. Chicago Triathlon is going to have, Lifetime Athletic Events has an application on your mobile device, and then you can choose Chicago Triathlon as your event, and there's a spectator portion to it as well. So come race weekend, have your friends and family download that app. You guys should all have it soon because they're putting up a lot of information about the race now. And friends and family will download it. You'll give them your race number, and they can actually track you throughout the course of the race and see where you are. And then I believe in the athlete guide for Chicago Triathlon, there's going to be like a spectator section. We're going to publish an information guide just for you guys as well, and we'll include some spectator information as well. Very good question. That's an awesome question. Anything else on the triathlon basics before we dive into some gear stuff here, guys? Yeah, go ahead.
Jackie, I know you've been talking about sprint and the Olympics.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm doing the super sprint.
Yeah,
so
very cool.
I've never heard anything about like the course on the super sprint.
Sure.
Is it on the website or something?
Yeah, it's Hootie, is it up on Chicago Triathlon right now? Yeah, it's up there. I just didn't download the map today. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's up at Foster. It's a little bit different course because it's further north, obviously. You don't share any of the course with the Sunday race. But it's on chicagotriathlon.com, and it's all up there. Saban, can you make sure that air conditioning is at like 66? I'm still hot. Still sweating up here. Yeah, these lights, man. I don't know what's going on. Oh, look it. This is Inception. I'm watching you guys watch me. Any questions before we start? Yeah, go ahead.
My name's Hannah.
Hi, Hannah.
So there will be cars on the outer lanes. Of the
Correct,
bike.
yeah. Yep. Yeah, Lakeshore Drive is 4 lanes wide for the most part, and we'll have the inner 2 lanes, and then you turn around and stay in the inner 2 lanes coming southbound as well. Any other questions, you guys? Who wants the beer, I think?
Beer run.
Yeah. Is the pitcher back there empty?
Yeah, there is. Well, there's no cups back.
Oh, sorry. Take all of them or most of them.
Thank you.
All right, we'll get going. So for the First Timers program, you guys are going to get a bunch of special stuff. We want you guys to know what you get different than everybody else. So tonight we're having a sale because you guys are here in the store. You get 10% off triathlon clothing, and we're going to talk about triathlon-specific clothing in the next slide. You guys get a discount on services and fitting. We have a $120 service package called our State Street service. You guys get for $90, I believe. And Ann, our head fitter's in the back there. If you have any bike fit questions for her afterwards, absolutely ask her. It's a $300 bike fit, and you guys get $75 off of that. If you have a bike now that's just not quite perfect or comfortable, it's awesome. She stands behind it for a year. I think she's the very, very best in the city, if not the state and country. And if you're buying a new bike, that $300 is credited towards the purchase of your bike. So you get that money back if you do buy a bike from us. This is a really cool event we're going to do in about a week. August 9th, we're doing our do-it-yourself triathlon. We had one early in July, and we had one last August. We're going to go down to Ohio Street Beach and set up a little mock transition area. We limit this to 50 athletes because we're going to put coaches and ambassadors in transition with you. and essentially give you a do-it-yourself event where you can try and different distances, figure out how transition works, a whole bunch of stuff. There's no cost associated with this. Watch how clever I am here. You have to buy a $50 gift card here in the store, and that gets you free enrollment into the event. So you get $50 worth of product, and then we'll register you for the event. You can A, buy that gift card here in the store tonight, and B, use that gift card here in the store tonight. So last clinic we had was a couple days before our first do-it-yourself, and we did quite a few. We're down to about 30 spots left. So if you have any interest in that, I would really encourage you to sign up for it. It's a great event. Yeah, Nicole.
My name's Nicole. What distances can you do, or do you just make it?
You can do everything. We don't mark the course, set the course, protect the course. I'll give you the distances to swim, bike, and run for both sprint and international, but it's still on you to do. So like the bike course from Ohio Street Beach is all the way down to the golf course, back up to North Avenue, and then back to Ohio Street. So you can do whatever you want. Some people cut the swim short, some people cut the bike short just to get all three sports in. We're there from 7 to 12, so you'll have more than enough time to do it. Yeah.
I'm James.
Hi, James.
Just curious, your app says that do-it-yourself try is August 6th.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
Is the 9th a Tuesday? All right, I made a typo. It's the 6th. Sorry. It's just upside down, man. You couldn't figure that one out? God. Yeah, it's the 6th. I'm sorry. I was tired today when I put this presentation together. So it's a Sunday. Or no, Saturday. Saturday. Who wants to give the presentation? I'm out of here. August 6th. We'll put you guys in the water about 7:30, and you'll have a couple hours from there. Last year, we did this one at the beginning of August, and a lot of athletes had a lot of fun at it. Yeah.
Catherine.
Hi, Catherine.
Does that $50 include the rental of a wetsuit?
It does not, no.
Okay.
It's still going to be $10 for a wetsuit rental on that day.
What about on race day?
Great question. We're going to open up. So we have 70 suits in our rental fleet for Chicago Triathlon. You guys are going to get first dibs, but we don't open them up until August 1st. It's going to be $50. That gives you 7 days to pick up, race, and drop off. And there's something I'm missing. Yeah, it's $50. I guess I'm not missing anything.
And on that note,
Yeah, go ahead.
Like on August 1st, we just call you.
Yeah, that's on my to-do list tomorrow to figure out how we're going to do it. It's probably going to be over the phone because we're going to take, it's prepay only because we're going to sell out. Everybody sells out for that. It's just based off your height and weight. If you've rented a suit from us before, we encourage you to rent a suit at any of our Saturday morning swims or Chicago Triathlon's Tuesday night swims that we're at. That gets you comfortable in the suit and the size. Then you can reserve that one starting August 1st. We'll send you guys a specific email just to the First Timers program. Make sure you're on our email list. If you are here, you probably got an email to come here. So you're on the list, and we'll get you that information on the 1st. Do you have another question? Yeah.
And this may be premature, but with the wetsuits, I have swam for a long time. I don't
Sure.
like the
Yeah.
Do we have to?
You absolutely do not have to wear one. A lot of swimmers by trade or athletes who swam in high school and college don't enjoy a wetsuit. I'm not a swimmer. I will never get in the open water without my wetsuit. It adds warmth, it adds buoyancy, and it makes swimming a little bit safer for those of us who aren't comfortable with it. Again, personally, I would say I'll never get in the water without one. If you're a swimmer, you're comfortable with your skill set, go ahead and do it without one. It might be a little brisk. I can't tell you what the temperature is going to be that weekend. Last year it was a little chilly, so you might want one just out of the warmth side of things. We only do full sleeve wetsuits in our demo suits. We do have sleeveless wetsuits for sale though, that are cut off just at the arms here. I saw a couple hands. Yeah, go ahead.
Just to carry on with that, Ellie, what percentage of triathlon athletes tend to wear a wetsuit?
Hootie, do you have Chicago Tri? Thoughts on that?
I would say 60%.
Yeah, I'd say over half easily. Chicago's a little bit different event. It's in deep water the whole time. You'll never be able to touch the bottom. It's been cold before. You guys have never had a wetsuit illegal race, right? You've never been up to 84. So it's always wetsuit optional at the very least, or wetsuit open. It's a wide area to swim in. Hootie and his team are doing a great job. They have paddleboarders, kayakers, canoers, I think, and then we're parallel to the wall the whole time. So if at any point you get worked up in the swim and need to take a break, you can hold on to any of those items. You just can't make forward progress. So having a wetsuit makes it more buoyant. You can starfish on your back and catch your breath, and it makes it a little bit warmer, like I said as well. Yeah.
My name's Irvin.
Hi, Irvin.
So just out of preference, like I don't prefer the long sleeve.
Sure.
wetsuit. No offense to y'all, but
Sure.
are there any other resources in the city where we can rent a wetsuit, or we can rent a sleeveless one?
I don't know off the top of my head who's doing it for Chicago Triathlon. We've seen Blue 70 out at the Tuesday night swims, but they're not going to, I don't think he's going to rent them for the triathlon. You can do a little bit of online research and figure it out. We just don't have the sleeveless suits because the technology has now caught up where the full sleeve should be as flexible as not wearing sleeves is the hope. So give it a try. If you absolutely hate it, we can figure out a way to get you into a sleeveless suit as well. A couple other events. I forgot one thing here. Last night we were out at the beach. Who came to the swim last night with all of us? Awesome. So you guys know how great of an event that is. For those of you who didn't raise your hand, every other Tuesday, Chicago Triathlon has an open water swim down at Ohio Street Beach, triathlon mecca here in Chicago. They open up registration this morning at noon for 2 weeks from yesterday. They sell out. They always sell out. They sell out very, very quickly. I think it's a charitable donation of $5 is the registration fee for it. Do that event. That is a great open water swim event. You can do everything from get into the water, get comfortable in a small group with a coach, all the way up to do a full mile swim and a 5K run, whatever you want to do. The aquathlon, which I'm still going to say is not a word, but we'll battle that out later. They do a swim run, they do learn to swim, they do everything in between. When you register, you fill out a quick little survey as to how comfortable you are in the open water. They group you into other similar athletes. They put coaches in the water with you. It's an absolutely phenomenal event. We're super excited to be there every 2 weeks. If you haven't gone, go to one of those. Swimming near other people, swimming in a big group, getting comfortable in the water, they take care of all of that. They have some of the best coaches in the city in the water with you too. So make sure you get into one of those swims. Check out facebook.com/Chicago Triathlon to sign up for it. Like I said, it opened today at noon. Do you know how many registered?
400 right now.
Out of 500? So do it now on your cell phones while I'm talking. Register for that event. That's a great event. And the last one is going to be something special, something a little bit bigger. So make sure you get on to the last one. It's the week of the race. And are we doing a course talk at that one? We'll do a mandatory race course talk on the beach with a beer at Cafe Olivia. It's awesome. Make sure you go to that event. We have weekly group activities that you guys have access to. Tuesday night runs at 6 o'clock. Saturday morning swim and wetsuit rental from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. down at Ohio Street Beach. And Sunday morning group rides. We have a 20 and a 45-mile option. Those meet here at the store and leave at 8 a.m. Someone said that on our app, it has a list of events. Download the LiveGrit app on Apple or Android, and you can see a constant list of events on there. Also, if you haven't seen it, livegrit.com/first-timers, plural, has a full calendar of events, has the videos of these clinics. That video, I've always wanted to point at the camera while I'm doing one of these clinics. So it'll have the videos and all the content you guys need as well. Hence the app and the First Timers page. Any questions on what you guys get special? This is just tonight and leading up to race weekend. Race weekend, you're going to get a whole bunch more amenities, and one of the biggest things you guys get is that group of people in the back of the room who are ready to answer your questions as well. Cool, cool. Last 2 slides here. So this is the gritty gear. This is what we've boiled down as the necessary essentials. We put it down to 9 things because we like simplicity here. Biggest question we always get, or some of the biggest questions we always get, do I need a fancy bike? The salesman in me says yes. The athlete in me says, no, you don't. Any bike will work. I encourage, and I wish it was mandatory, get your bike into a service department. Please, please, please bring it to us. You get a discount here. Even if it's not us, though, get your bike looked at. There's nothing worse than doing a triathlon with your tires flat, your brakes rubbing, and none of your gears work. We see it at races every time. Life's going to be a lot easier if you just get a quick little tune-up on your bike. Also, a fitting with ads is going to make the bike a lot more comfortable, easier to ride, faster, all that good stuff. So if you have an old bike, you can absolutely do it. Just get it serviced and get it looked at, and you'll be a lot more comfortable.
Would you do that like the week of the race?
Do it now, because it might need a full tune-up. We're one of the fastest shops in terms of turnaround, and we're at about 6 business days out right now. Some other shops are at like a month turnaround. So the week of, you can get little tweaks made, make sure you have your bar plugs in there and things like that. But get that full tune-up now as quick as you can. Most shops will stand behind it. We stand behind our repair work for 90 days, so you'll have plenty of time before the race. Other things we talk about, triathlon suit, triathlon clothing, that's going to be our biggest lesson from today. So triathlon clothing is different from swim, bike, or run clothing. So this is a pair of bike shorts. Everybody calls it the big pad in the back. The technical term for it is a chamois. Cycling shorts are really comfortable. They're only designed to be riding your bike, though. The difference between a bike short or a pair of running shorts and a triathlon short is that chamois gets really thin. So A, you don't have a wet diaper on the whole day. And B, when you're running, you don't have a wet diaper on the whole day. So the chamois is a lot thinner, it drains water. Typically the shorts are a little bit longer as well because when we're running and riding, we don't want the shorts to ride up on us. These are designed to go in the open water and shed water really, really quickly. Getting yourself a pair of tri-shorts. This is all I swim in. I never wear a jammer or a swimsuit anymore, just my tri-shorts. These are awesome. These are super comfortable. And then the tops are similar in terms of their ability to shed water. Almost all triathlon tops are sleeveless because we don't want sleeves getting in the way through a swim stroke or underneath our wetsuit. Men and women can both wear both of these pieces underneath your wetsuit. You can wear just your bottoms. Women wear a sports bra. It's not a nude sport. You have to wear something on top. If you're like me, I can't put a wet shirt or a dry shirt on when I'm wet, so I swim in both no matter what because I can't get a shirt over my shoulders. Some women and men will race without the top on and put that on in transition. And then we even have athletes that will race in the one piece, which is the same exact technology as the two pieces. They just sewed it together and made it match. At the longer distances, there's this myth, or I shouldn't call it a myth. There's a common theme that athletes have of, well, it's too hard to go to the bathroom in that. Sprint and international distance athletes, you're only going to be on the course for 3 to 4 hours, 4.5 maybe. You won't need to go to the bathroom, and if it is, you can just get it down pretty quick. It's not that big of a deal. I think if you asked experienced triathletes, like the group of coaches in the back, they're going to be about 50-50 between two-piece or one-piece. It's all personal preference. Try something on, get comfortable with it, see what you think. Any questions on the clothing, guys? Hoodie's laughing at me for something.
Have you guys ever worn one piece?
In the 90s.
In the 90s. They're popular, dang it. All the people on staff who used to wear one piece don't work here anymore, so. Normal triathletes. Don't buy one piece. There's no such thing as too much triathlon clothing, and that's not the salesman in me. I forget to do laundry all the time. Some fit more comfortably than others. We had an athlete just this week come in and say, that pair of tri-shorts I got is great, but after an hour I don't like the way it grabs my legs. So she got a different pair of shorts that have a different leg gripper. We have 3 or 4 companies that do triathlon clothing. Fit and feel is huge. Try something on, see what you like. Chicago Triathlon is going to be nice enough to give you a swim cap. They're not nice enough to give you a really nice swim cap. It is the cheaper version, the less expensive version. We sell silicone swim caps that aren't going to pull your hair out, aren't going to be as uncomfortable or as tight, but they're going to give you a swim cap on race day. You have to wear it. Even if you are bald as a cue ball, you have to wear it because it designates your wave and your wave color. And then we will suggest a pair of open water goggles. Open water goggles are different from pool goggles in that they have a wider peripheral vision. They have a larger suction surface, so they stay on your face and you can see more. Typically, they're tinted or polarized, so you don't catch the glare off the water from the sun. You need a bike. Unless you're in the Divi Wave, then they'll provide one for you. But other than that, you need a bike, and you absolutely need a helmet. Something that a lot of people don't know about helmets is they only last 3 to 5 years, and they're one-hit wonders. Even if you drop it in your garage really hard, get a new helmet. If you've ever crashed in your helmet, get a new helmet. If it sits on the dashboard of your car when you're out at lunch, get a new helmet. It's a lot cheaper than brain surgery. They start at about 40 bucks, and they're designed to take the impact once, and then they don't work as well anymore. So let's make sure we're all in safe helmets. Rosalind will want me to say this. This year, the change in rules for USAT is anytime you are on your bicycle on race day, you have to have your helmet on and buckled. Going to or leaving from the race also counts. They won't let you out of transition without your helmet on and buckled, so you have to have a helmet the whole day. Don't run in it, because we'll all point and laugh at you. But on the bike, you need a helmet, you need it buckled. Shoes and socks, this is another question we get a lot. Do I need the clip-in or the locked-in shoes? It makes bike riding a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more efficient. I don't like riding my bike in my gym shoes anymore because I've been in what's called clipless shoes and pedals for so long, but it's definitely not a necessity. You can do it in your running shoes on a pair of platform pedals. Whatever's most comfortable for the athlete's the biggest thing. I will say, we'll lead right into that, a good pair of running shoes is huge. Something that fits you well, something that helps support your normal run stride, however your body's working. A lot of us will pronate, which is the body's ability to kind of collapse in on itself. They make special shoes to support that, and shoes are only going to last 6 months or so, 300 to 500 miles of usage. If you're like me and you wear your shoes just standing all day, that's going to come down and you're going to beat them up a little bit more. So getting a new pair of running shoes, we have, I think last count, we had like 27 models on the wall over there. Having Jeff or one of our other run shoe experts take a look at your run stride, get comfortable in a good pair of shoes is huge. It's going to make all the difference in training and on race day. I fought tooth and nail to get sunglasses on there because I like sunglasses and we couldn't think of anything else for the run. A piece of eyewear for the bike especially, even if you're a slower cyclist, you're still going 15 to 20 miles an hour down some of those hills. Lower whacker is dead to the wind, so you can go really, really quick in there. Something on your eyes to protect us from debris and things like that. And on the run, we're gonna have a beautiful sunny Sunday afternoon, or Sunday morning, so you want something to protect your eyes from that. And then this guy here, a $12 investment that'll make your life a lot easier, a race belt. It clips your number on. You have to have a number around you somewhere on the run course. Rather than putting safety pins in your shirt and putting holes in all your favorite shirts, that race belt's gonna make all the difference in the world. Some of them even have storage for nutrition or small things during training, but that makes a big difference. You'll notice I lost the battle to get wetsuit on the Triathlon Basics. Get a wetsuit. It's awesome. It's free cheating or legal cheating. Any questions on the Triathlon Basics stuff here, guys? Yeah, go ahead.
Are there any rules on beverages on bikes, carrying water bottles?
I'm fairly confident you're not allowed to have alcohol. Is that in the book, Rosalind? Yeah, so no rules. Whatever you want to do. We'll throw a couple of old verbiage at you from the triathlon world. One of the things that a lot of triathletes will say is that the bike is your buffet. I can't eat on the run. I start to choke as soon as I try and do anything while I run. So the bike is where I'll eat and drink the most. It's also self-supported during the Chicago Triathlon on the bike course. There's no aid station. There's no refill station along the way. So getting a couple bottles of water on there. We have cool bags that go right behind your handlebars that you can put some nutrition in as well, some foods and some solids. The bike is the best part of the triathlons. That's not debatable because I'm giving the presentation. It is the best part of the triathlon because you can coast and still make forward progress. So that's where you want to do a lot more eating and drinking, in my opinion. Others might disagree. Don't do any drinking in the swim course. You want to avoid that as best you can. Any other questions? I saw a couple more hands. Yeah.
What are the rules when, biking or the cycling portion, passing on the left?
Yeah, so that's going to be a great question to ask Dave Kappas at your course talk. He's a great guy. All of the rules and finer details are going to be covered in your course talk. I'll tell you now, but you're going to forget, so listen again in the course talk. As almost all triathlons in the world is pass on the left, slower on the right. On Lakeshore Drive, we're going to reverse that because we want slower athletes to be more protected by the inside of the lane and to pass. So in triathlon rules, you can't ride two abreast. You can't ride wide. When you come around someone to pass, you have, I think, 30 seconds to complete the pass, 15 seconds to complete the pass. You have to have 3 bike lengths between the rider in front of you and you. Once you get within 3 bike lengths, you need to move out to the side. You have 15 seconds to break the plane of their front wheel, at which point it becomes their responsibility to slow down and you can come past them. So on Lakeshore Drive, that action is going to be on the right-hand side, out towards the traffic cones and the physical traffic. Everywhere else on the course and everywhere else in triathlons, it's on the left side. You pass on the left. So it's
Running, you pass on the left.
yeah, running's swimming is a free-for-all. You just not over the top. Get around them, just don't go over the top in the swim. But yeah, the bike course is where there's hard rules set, and those are important. There will be officials out on course, and they'll penalize you for passing inappropriately, so you need to be careful of that. It's about safety, guys. We're on Lakeshore Drive in the middle of a Sunday morning, and everybody on Lakeshore Drive is going to be like, oh, look at those guys. So we need to be careful out there. We need to be safe about it. Is that a bad impression of a car accident? Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Kip, so for the race,
Yeah.
number for the run, could you put that on your shirt ahead of time?
Yeah.
Different shirt during the bike? Or do you
Absolutely.
need a shirt?
You do need a shirt. Well,
No.
I'm going to say you need a shirt because there's a guy last year who ran the whole thing in a Speedo.
No,
And
I'm talking about the bike.
on the bike? Yeah, you don't need a number on your shirt on the bike. It'll be on your helmet and on your physical bicycle, and there'll be some bad permanent marker left over from the swim course. But on the run is when you'll put that belt on or put the shirt on with it pinned on. A lot of athletes will put it on before the bike just so they don't forget. The downside is it'll just be flapping in the wind while you're riding the whole time. So you don't need it on the bike, so unless you're super forgetful, I wouldn't put it on until the run.
Just use a different shirt.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's a good idea. Any other questions on the gear stuff, guys? I know you probably have a bunch. Again, the coaches, they're all wearing Chicago Triathlon shirts. Our staff, most of us are in some sort of Live Grit shirt. or we look like we know what we're talking about. So find one of them afterwards if you have any questions. That whole side of the store is a lot more soft goods. Men's and women's triathlon clothing, the small things, were kind of on the bike side of the store. So if you have any cycling or bike equipment questions, it'll be over here. That side's going to have everything else. Any other questions on the gear stuff while we're here, guys? Any other bigger triathlon questions? Saban, you look like you have something to say. Oh, he's out of beer. Oh, no. Last slide for you guys then. So we talked about training. We want to touch on training. Doing your due diligence now, which is a hard sentence to say, is super important. And that's what's going to be your saving grace on race day. Getting off the bike course and things and getting through the swim comfortably. That's all what we're doing right now. So doing a brick workout, that's a big word we're going to throw around in the triathlon world. That's any two workouts combined. So typically it's consisted of a bike and a run workout. If you come to the Chicago Tri-Swims on a Tuesday night, it's a swim and a run workout. Putting our body through different physiological changes is what we want to do. We want to get used to doing two different activities, or at sometimes three, back to back to back. That's another great time to do the do-it-yourself triathlon or the aquathlon. This is the Chicago Tri-Swim from 2 weeks ago, and this is our do-it-yourself tri from a couple weeks ago as well. So both of those are great opportunities to get your body used to multiple workouts. Even the fastest triathletes in the world, the pros, undergo the same physiological changes that you guys are doing. There's no way to eliminate or minimize it. The only thing you can do is teach your body what's happening or get comfortable with what's going to happen. And that just comes with practice and understanding. If you've ever gone for a bike ride and then gone for what we call a transition run, quick 10 to 15 minute run, you'll feel that difference. You feel like you've never ran before, or you just ran a marathon. It just feels super weird. And you got to teach your body how to do that or how to get used to it. This is another word we're going to throw out at you a lot, or another phrase: train what you race and race what you train. Chicago Triathlon, the 28th, nothing new should happen other than 10,000 people are watching you do it. There shouldn't be anything new that day. No new goggles, no new clothes, no new shoes or new food, new water. Everything has been practiced prior to that day. If you're like me and you put a new pair of goggles on, you're going to find out how terrible it is to race in something new. So train what you race and race what you train. You should be practicing everything now, getting comfortable with the clothing and the equipment, as well as the activities. Any questions on training stuff, guys? There's got to be a question. Someone's got a question. I guess not. All right. Oh, look at that. Cool. I was tired when I made this presentation, just zooming in for no reason. If you guys don't have any questions for me, I'll set you loose on the masses. Real quick before I do, check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/livegrit, Chicago Triathlon's Facebook page. Our website for you guys is livegrit.com/first-timers. Download our mobile app, download Lifetime Athletics mobile app. That's going to be your home for all the information you need. Yeah, Nicole?
As far as nutrition
Yeah.
for the race, what is recommended for someone doing the Olympic distance?
Sure.
Is it every hour or something?
That's a really tough question to answer because it's so personal, it's so individual. General rules say you want to be consuming some sort of solid half hour to an hour throughout the race, and you want to be drinking about a bottle of water every 45 minutes to an hour. Hotter days, sweatier athletes, bigger people need different measurements of all of that. I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a nutritionist. The coaches will have a lot of information for you as to what works for them and what works for athletes they've worked with in the past. But the biggest thing is getting used to it now. Doing something for a couple of hours and putting different amounts of solids and liquids into your body and seeing how the body reacts. Same thing like flavors. Some people like caffeine, some people can't stand caffeine. Different things work differently. Plan on being entirely self-supported though. There's water on the run course, but plan on being self-supported. And they're going to have Scratch Labs on the run course this year, which is an awesome product. We sell it here in store. They're little drink packages. Are there any solids on the run course this year, Hootie?
We have gels of some sort.
Okay.
It's not Cliff, I don't remember.
Okay, but it's Scratch Hydration, right?
Correct.
Okay, so Scratch Labs Hydration, it's awesome. They have it I think they had it last night at the swim because I tasted it and I thought it was Scratch Labs. But they're drink mixes. They're a better version, a healthier version of a Gatorade or something like that. Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick with the training.
Yeah.
I'm only doing sprint.
Okay.
Would you recommend going longer distances, like doing more than like 15 miles on bike
Sure.
during training, or just get comfortable with 15?
Yeah, that's totally up to you. Personally, I would say at the sprint or even the international distance, you should be able to achieve the distances prior to race day. It shouldn't be your longest workout on race day. Training at length will add endurance. Training shorter, higher intensities will add speed. So whichever you're comfortable with doing. We always want to mix up our workouts though. You don't do the same workout every time. That's a term called periodization, where there's a bunch of longer building workouts and then kind of a step back or a recovery week or workout. Some of the coaches in the back can answer those questions a little bit better as well. No more questions for me, guys. Thanks so much for coming. If you have any questions, find one of us, and we'll see you guys down the road.